Hi, if you're new here, I hate packing. Despise it actually. Detest it would be the better word. Hello my loves and thank you for joining me. It's Kirsten and we're at the start of another weekly vlog. I don't know what this hand is doing. I don't know. I am starting this vlog early. It's actually going to be a bit of a long vlog, but that is because if you saw last week's vlog, you would know that I am going to New York on Saturday. The flight is really early in the morning. It's at 8 in the morning, and tomorrow I've also got to be up really early because I have a hospital appointment. So I'm not going to have time to update you. So we thought we'd start the vlog today and then I'll probably next update you when I'm actually in America, which is going to be amazing. I'm so excited. I've never been to New York. It's going to be a good time. But I did want to just talk about the book, which I plan on reading tomorrow while I'm in the hospital, and then the flight potentially if I still want to continue on with this one. Otherwise I do have another book that's packed, that is packed away, which I'm not going to unpack to show you, so I will just talk about that when we get to that in America. But the book I plan on taking to the hospital with me tomorrow is The Traitor by Seth Dickinson. If you're in the US, it's The Traitor Baru Cormorant. This is an older fantasy book. It's a political fantasy. Reagan from Paris Project is the one that kind of inspired me to actually get this book, because when she was talking about this, she was saying how it's like Tyrion Lannister, but make it female and make her the star of the show. So of course I wanted to get this book. Obviously, it sounds really good, and apparently it really is some questionable decisions that Baru makes. So she's on this world where I don't know what they are exactly, but there's this other people that colonize different, I'm not sure if it's worlds or just countries, but they come in and they take over everything and they rip apart the civilization. And so Baru decides, actually, you know what, I'm not standing for this, I'm going to infiltrate them, and she does. And apparently the end of this book is absolutely gut-wrenching with the decisions that she makes. So I'm really intrigued. I really cannot wait to see where this is going and to see what questionable decisions she actually makes. I think it's going to be a really interesting time. So yeah, this is the one that I plan on taking with me to the hospital. I'm going to be probably in hospital. My appointment starts at 9:30 in the morning, and normally I'm not allowed to go until like gone 4. So it's going to be a long day, so we're going to get quite a bit of this read. That's the plan. And then I've got the flight from London to New York, which I think is about 8 hours as well. So yeah, we might actually get this book finished by the time I next do an update, unless I decide to change it up and swap out the books that I'm reading. Haven't quite decided, but that's what this vlog is going to be. It is going to be the New York vlog. We're just starting it a couple of days earlier to make it easier on myself. And yeah, I'm really excited. We're definitely going to be doing some book shopping. I am so excited to go to a Barnes & Noble. Like, you don't understand the level of excitement. I cannot wait. And then the rest of it, who knows? I don't know. That's the only thing that I have planned is book shopping. And then my partner, he wants to do a few things. So it's going to be a good time. I'll be bringing you along with me. Let me know if you've been to New York or if you're from New York. By the time you see this vlog, I will actually be back. But I would still love to know if you have been, and it'll be great. So yeah. Very exciting times. Anyway, right, okay, I'm still rambling. I'm gonna try and calm this energy down, but I'm so excited and I've still got 2 days to go, and I'm in that, do you ever get that where you're so excited but you've got to wait, and so it's just like you don't know what to do with yourself? Because I'm in that mood. So yeah, anyway, thank you so much for joining. I hope you enjoy this vlog, and like I say, let me know if you've been to New York, if you've read this book, the usual things. Let me know how you're doing, and yeah, I will catch up with you in a couple days in New York. Good morning. I have made it to New York, which is great. I am updating a day later than what I thought. Yesterday was just really busy. We landed at 12, well, just before 12 o'clock in the afternoon, New York time. But for us, it was almost 5 p.m. So it's been a really, really long day yesterday because we wanted to try and get straight onto New York time straight away. So as much as I really wanted to go to bed as soon as we'd kind of made it to where we're staying, we really couldn't. Not that you needed to know that. Anyway, so I did an update yesterday. We did find some like food shops and stuff so we could get some snacks and that was about all we did. We really didn't do much. Today is going to be the first day where we actually go off and explore New York. Not really sure what we're going to be doing because it is a Sunday, so I don't know what's going to be open. But my first thing that I really want to do is find a Starbucks and get a chai latte because I am desperate for that drink. And also I've had to try and do this update the second time because all I can think to myself right now is I really need a chai latte, and so my thoughts are not coherent. But you're kind of used to that anyway, so that's fine. But I do have some reading updates for you. It has been a couple days, so let's go through what I've been reading. As we know, I started off with The Traitor Seth Dickinson, and this was on Friday. I didn't actually get as much read as I thought I was going to. I got to page 129, which is part 2, which is named Warlord, and honestly I'm really enjoying this book. It's taken me a lot longer to actually read because there is so much going on. This is a very heavy political fantasy book, and so there are so many different plot lines that are going on that you have to try and keep on top of. So what I did originally is I read up to page 100 and then I went back through it, and that's when I started annotating, because originally I wasn't sure if I was going to annotate because in all honesty I'm hoping to find the US covers of this book because I really don't like the UK one. So if I can find the whole trilogy in the US covers, then I will be getting that. So I wasn't sure if I wanted to start annotating this book because if I get the US ones then I'll be giving these ones away. However, kind of need to with this book because for me I've just found it so much easier to then follow what's going on now that I'm annotating it. The first read through gave me a base understanding, and then me going back through was more of a skim read, but it was really needed to pull out everything that's going on. I'm going to go through the annotating and then that will also help explain what is going on in this book. So we've got this sort of like pale orangey colour. That's for quotes that I love. We all know that I have that. That one doesn't need any explaining. However, this pale green, that is for anything to do with the Empire. So in this world, we're following Baru. Baru Cormoran is someone whose home country has just been taken over by the Empire, and they started this really slowly. So first of all, they sent in books that people couldn't read because it wasn't in their language, and the books were labelled on how to transition into the Empire's language and how it's going to be the benefit for everyone. Then they started with merchants, and they would come along to buy and sell between the native people, and you were happy to take their money, but when they were given change, it was only ever in the Empire's currency. So then that money then became redundant and they could only use it to continue to trade with the Empire alone. And so that was a way of really like segregating them and being able to trade with other areas to just only being able to trade with the Empire, because that's all the money that they were being given back. And eventually it got to this point where Baru and a lot of the other children in the community started going to this school, and the school was then teaching them things that they've never had to know, they've never had words for. And it's because in the Empire's way of seeing things, everything should be one father, one mother, very heterosexual, that's the only way it can be. In Baru's community, it was not like this at all. Baru herself has 2 fathers and a mother, though it's very common for this community to have polyamorous relationships and have the dynamics between men and women be very open and freeing, until the Empire's coming along and is teaching the children how wrong this is. Honestly, the words in this that they use are really quite harsh and horrible. Like, this book does not hold back on how it is to have someone come in and tell you the way of life that you live is so utterly wrong. And so they're teaching these children how wrong it is, and then they're starting to get to the points where they're now punishing people for being in these relationships. And as Baru's getting older, we see her seeing different things. She eventually becomes an accountant for the Empire. As part of being an accountant, she goes off to this other country where they're trying to take over, and she's seeing them condition people. So this particular woman was rumoured to be interested in people other than her spouse, and so now she is being conditioned to be trained that this is not correct, that you are only allowed this one person in a relationship only, and it's chosen by the Empire. You don't get to choose who you're with. They decide for you what race and person that you can be with to better invest in the bloodlines. It's really quite shocking. And so you're seeing all of that, and it's just that slow takeover, the way they do it so slowly in a way that just obliterates everything and just eradicates someone else's past is really impressive but awful. And so that's all of the green parts where I'm seeing that, where the empire is taken over, and that is something that I really wanted to, on the second time I read through the first 100 pages, to really focus on, because of how intricately that they were doing this and how it affects all aspects of their life. Now Burrow herself decides that she is going to take down the empire, but she's going to do this from the inside, which is why she then becomes an accountant and why she's working her way through. But what she's dealing with are some really atrocious decisions, because for her to be able to save her home country, she's got to prove to the empire that she is loyal. And so the decisions that she's having to make are, again, really, really awful, because she's having to be a part of this empire, and you're really seeing her struggle with those decisions and how she's really trying to stay true to what she wants, which is to take them down. And there have just been some amazing quotes in here where it really does make you question everything, and the fact that this rebellion is going to rip her apart, because even Burrow says there is nothing that I wouldn't do to save my country, and she will rip herself apart to save the ones that she loves. It tears her up inside because of the moral decisions that she's having to make. It's really good, but it takes a lot of concentration, or at least it has for me. So yesterday and a little bit this morning I switched to Joe Abercrombie's Before They Are Hanged, and this is the second book in the First Law trilogy, and Eric lent this one to me, so thank you very much. This is so much easier to read, which is weird because this is an epic fantasy book, but I don't feel like I need the brain power to concentrate as much, so this was perfect to bring on the flight. I haven't got that far into it. I'm up to page 102. Can't give you chapter numbers and that because it's all done by chapter titles, but this was really good. I really enjoy this. The first book, we're following three main characters. There are other side characters, but we have our three main ones. So we have Giselle, who is a popper's ass. He's so arrogant. He's a fencer. He believes that because of his birth, he's better than others because that's how the society is built for him. And he's part of the Union, which in my mind, there's no blooming map, so I've kind of put that as England. Okay, then we have Logan, and he is a wild Northman, so I'm seeing that as like Scotland, and he is kind of fleeing things that have happened, and that's start of where some of the fantasy elements come in. There's these things called Shankar, which we don't really know too much about. It wasn't really explored in the first book, and there's also like spirits, like fire spirits and earth spirits that Logan's able to commune with, and there's also the Magus, a wizard. We'll call him a wizard, that Logan meets in the north as well, and they have travelled down to the Union, picked up Giselle along the way, and they are off on this adventure, which is where we're following them at the minute. So we have Giselle and Logan that are now together in this very ragtag crew that are trying to accomplish something, but they don't know what it is because the wizard is very secretive and will not tell them what's going on. We then have Glokta. Now Glokta is a torturer that has been tortured himself. He was a world-renowned soldier, really good at what he was doing, and basically he was like Giselle in a way, but just better at the sword play side of things. But he was very much like that. He was very young, very arrogant, and then he got caught. There was a war a few years ago from, I'm going to call it France, and he got caught on the wrong side of the lines and was tortured for 2 years, and has come back. And he is in so much pain all the time because of the torture that he went through, and it really does a good job of highlighting how difficult it can be to accomplish just day-to-day things when you're in pain all the time. Now he is a torturer for the Union's kind of government, and he is off back to France to protect from a potential war that's happening there. So we have potential wars coming from France and Scotland, and England's kind of stuck in the middle. And so it's going to be really interesting to see where it all goes. This one is just kind of re-establishing where everybody is. It doesn't really go over what happened in the first book, so I'm quite pleased that I picked these up quite close together, but I'm enjoying it. There's not loads going on in terms of plot. There really isn't much. you know that a war is brewing. Like, I would say this is kind of like the fantasy books like Malice from John Gwynne, the Faithful and Fallen series, where it has that slow building up to this war that's going to be happening, and I feel like that's what this book is doing. It's just very dark, very gritty, and because we are following the perspective of a torturer, there are some really quite horrendous scenes. Like, one scene, I was reading it this morning, I was in bed and I was like, ooh, that's just, no. It was just so gross, and I was like, I don't know, I was trying to eat breakfast, but there we go. But yeah, I'm really enjoying this one. This one is kind of weird to say that I've got two fantasy, like epic fantasy books going on. One very political heavy, so this is one that I know that I'm going to be reading when I have the brain power to focus on it, and then I've got this one which technically has more fantasy elements to it but is the more relaxing to read. Weirdly, I'm enjoying this mix of books. Normally I wouldn't like two epic fantasy picks together, but for some reason it's working, and it's the only books I packed with me for this holiday, so that's what we've got. That's me done. This update has been long enough. Like I say, I don't really know what we're going to be up to today, but I'll bring you along with me and we'll see what happens. But I think for now my partner's going to be making pancakes, so I might just kick him out of bed to do that. It has been a busy couple of days. On, oh my god, what day are we even on? Tuesday? Are we on Tuesday?
Yeah.
Tuesday. So on Sunday we did just a little look around New York just to see what's around and just kind of get an idea of what we wanted to do while we were here. And part of that was going to Barnes & Noble, which I am so excited about. So I did get a couple of books while I was there. Actually, to be fair, I had a massive pile of books and I did narrow it down. There were so many that I wanted to get. Some just for the cover because they're so good, like so nice, and I can't get them in the UK, so obviously that was tempting. And then a couple just because I can't actually get the book in the UK at the minute. So there was a lot, but I narrowed it down to 4. The first one being The Diviners by Liva Bray. I do have this book, but I've given it to my sister to read and I really just want another copy back. Like, I really want it. The US covers are the covers that I have the whole series in, and it was so hard to find in the UK, and even the one that I did have, that's secondhand anyway, and so I'm very happy to have a new pristine copy in the US covers that I actually adore. So really happy with this find. Although I will say, books in America, blimmin' expensive, so much more expensive than the UK, like so much more. Then we have a complete trilogy, and I was so excited because I had said to myself that I want to get the book, but that I wouldn't if I couldn't have the complete trilogy, because otherwise then what's the point? But they had it. They had all of them. I'm in love. I'm so in love with these. And that is the Traitor Barrow Cormorant series, which I'm currently reading the first book. I haven't actually read any more of that. It's really good, really enjoying it, and they had all 3 in Barnes & Noble, so of course I got them. So we have the Traitor Barrow Cormorant. I mean, just look at that. That is stunning. We have the Monster, which this one, I'm not gonna lie, is a bit terrifying, but it does go well with what's happening. And the final one is the Tyrant. And just look how good they are. That is so good. Let me get the first book and we can compare covers. I mean, just look at that. UK, US. I'm sorry, but the US just wins, hands down. It's actually quite a nice size as well. It's a bigger paperback, but I actually don't mind it in this. Plus, they're just super floppy. Look at that. That's amazing. So yeah, I'm absolutely loving it. So I think what I'm going to do before I carry on reading the Traitor Barracon run, I'm actually going to transfer all of my annotations into this edition and then continue reading it from here. So I think I'm going to wait till I'm back in the UK for that. But this book, we know how I'm loving this. I really am enjoying it. It's brutal. And I think it wouldn't go amiss to read this first bit again. Like, I actually don't mind that, so I think that's what I'm gonna do, because I'm really enjoying this, but I hate this cover so much. I did get it second hand because it's kind of harder to find in the UK as well, because it's an older series. This was done in 2005, I think, so it's quite an old series, and this just beautiful, absolutely amazing. So yeah, that's it. Those are the 4 books that I got, and I'm so happy with all of them. I had a bit of self-control, which I'm pleased with. Which, actually, talking of books, while we're on the topic, I might as well talk about the fact that across the last couple of days I have read a bit more of Before They Were Hanged. I'm now up to page 236, and I'm really enjoying this one. It's a really easy read. It is political in parts, especially with Glocta. We're seeing a lot of politics because he's having to deal with the war from the south, and as a result there's a lot of merchants there, and they seem to be profiteering off of what's happening, and he's just having to juggle a lot of different things. So you do get some politics in that, and then the other part of this, we're getting the war from the north, and we're seeing that from Colonel West's perspective. So we've kind of now got 4 main characters going on in this book. You're seeing the stress, again, politics that he's having to deal with, because he's got a prince who's a complete loony and just is so disregarding what is happening and the severity of what is happening, and doesn't take into account the fact that these are actual men's lives that are now going to be lost because of his stupid choice, and because he doesn't want to listen to anyone. He just wants to come back home and be like, oh, I won the war, and he's stupid, basically. So you're having to deal with all of that, and then you have Logan and Giselle's perspective with the wizard and everything going along with that, and they're going on this travelling journey, and we still don't know what they're travelling for. We have no clue what's going on, but theirs is just a travelling story. But because the characters are so well done in this, it's so easily readable. We have quite a long train journey into New York from where we're staying, which I don't mind that, because it means I'm getting quite a bit of reading done during those train journeys, which is quite nice. So yeah, I'm reading this. Obviously, I'm not going to finish it. Tomorrow is our last day. We're actually flying back in the evening, and we land Thursday morning in the UK. So this is not going to be finished on holiday, but I did expect New York to be less reading because we've been so busy. Going back to being so busy, yesterday we went to a outlet. It was an hour outside of New York, but it's massive. Like, it's a massive outlet. It's like a whole little mini shopping village. It's massive. So we were there for ages. That was actually our longest day, because we left here at like 8:30 in the morning and we wasn't back until like 8:30 in the evening, but it was really good fun. So I didn't get loads, actually. I only got a few little bits, saving the best for last. So one thing I did get is a hot cup. It's just a simple Starbucks hot cup, but I really like it because it's like this triangle shape, and I really like the colour. So that was one of the purchases. And then I got myself a hoodie, so that I stopped wearing my partner's ones. I actually have my own hoodie, which I'm pretty impressed with. And I like this one. It's warm, which is what you want, right? And I also got these jeans, but I'm currently wearing them. So that was it. Those were the main things that I was like, yep, I'm gonna go out for. The hot cup wasn't something I was going out for particularly, but the hoodie and getting a pair of jeans was kind of like the point. Then, at the end, we were gonna get this bus, and then I made us miss the bus. And the bus is once every hour. And you know what? It was worth it. It was 100% worth it, because then I found this. This is amazing. This is a beautiful pink jacket that is Sailor Moon inspired. I'm sorry, but say no more. That is all I needed. I saw it, I wanted it, it was beautiful. There was actually quite a lot in the shop. I should have filmed it really, but this is just stunning. Those are the detailings on it, and I love it. It's really nice. It's really good. I absolutely love it. So this was the buy of the day yesterday, and to be fair, even the last couple of days, because the books are good, don't get me wrong. I'm very happy I got that trilogy, but Sailor Moon themed jacket, You can't go wrong with that. So yeah, so I was excited to find all of that, and that was it really. That's all I've been up to. Shopping the last couple of days, little bits of reading here and there, and that is literally it. Oh, the pancakes. The pancakes were pretty good actually. Funfetti pancakes. Not bad. He did a good job. Quite impressed with that. That's it. Today the plan is to go to the park. Central Park? No idea what it's called. It's the big park in New York. It's massive. Everybody knows about it, surely, right? So we're gonna go there and have a little look around, and that's it really. And then tomorrow it's just gonna be packing. It's been a nice little trip, nice little time. Not been too long, but we've got loads done. And I'm very happy with it, and I'm happy with all my purchases and stuff, and yeah, it's great. Anyway, I'm gonna stop rambling and probably go harass my partner for a little bit, and then we'll go out and I will bring you along to the park, because I think that is going to be beautiful. I really do think that's going to be lovely. But I haven't been filming loads of b-roll like I normally would, and I do apologise for that. But I've also just been experiencing it and just been having so much fun. Like with the Sailor Moon stock, they had a few, it was just like this little rail, and I was so ecstatic for it that it didn't even think to go, oh, let me film this for you, because I was in the moment. So I apologise, but I'm having a grand old time. You have to let me know if you've been to New York, and like, what do you do when you're here, and like all of that stuff. Or is it somewhere that you want to go? What would you want to do here? Anyway, I'm rambling for no reason, so I'll catch up with you later. Maybe tomorrow while I'm packing, because I hate packing. And then I can talk to you about how the park was. Potentially. We're on the floor because I need to pack, and you can't see my suitcase from this angle, but I can't angle this in any other way. But this is what we're working with. It's the massive pile, an empty suitcase, and regrets. So many regrets. I hate packing so much. By the way, hi, if you're new here, I hate packing. Despise it actually. Detest it would be the better word. You're keeping me company, obviously, because my partner's hid away in the bedroom because he does not help with packing, which is unfair because he's really good at it but refuses to help. But never mind. Yesterday was good actually. We went to Central Park, and that is split into 5 sections, which I really enjoyed actually. I thought it was quite nice to have it split into those different sections. We started at the very top and then went down. I don't even know where to start with this. And I enjoyed it, it was good. The first section had more of like a woodland rocky moments where I actually filmed the majority there because I really enjoyed that bit. It was really nice to walk through. And then the second part was this big lake, and it was massive, absolutely massive, and that's where the turtles were, which I really enjoyed. That was really cool. That bit was probably the fastest one to walk through because so much of it was taken over by this massive water bit. The next bit was the gardens. Like there was lots of like little gardens. We didn't go into a lot of them, but the one that we did go into was the Shakespeare one, which I really enjoyed. I really liked the fact that they had little plaques that were quotes, and the quotes were to do with nature, and then you had the corresponding nature part with that. I thought that was really cool, really nice touch, and not something that I actually expected. Straighteners will go last, I think. Should I keep the adapter out for the airport, do you think? Yeah, do that. But yeah, so the Shakespeare Garden, probably my favourite part, that or the woodlands. I really liked that. I think the Shakespeare Garden would be an amazing place just to sit down, relax, read a book. I thought that was lovely, and that is where we stopped and had a little like bite to eat because we bought some little snacks and stuff that we bought earlier, like when we first arrived here. Not that we've actually eaten much of that, we've still got loads. Wait, that's the adapter I need. Wrong adapter. And then the last two bits were just kind of what I would expect, kind of like if you've ever been to Hyde Park with that. There's some water feature and a lot of it's more just so you can sit down, rest and have picnics and stuff. It's not anything where it's like loads of beautiful garden formations with flowers or foresty walks. It's just kind of smooth grass to be able to have picnics on, which I've said. But what they do is in parts of it they have it where they've closed it for the season to give the grass a chance to recover, which I thought was a really good idea. So yeah, that was a really nice time. I enjoyed going to the park. I'm pleased that we went there. That was really nice, especially after the last couple of days where it's been heavy with the shopping. It was really nice to have a morning where we was a little bit slower and just walk in. That was really nice. Saying that, I did go to Barnes & Noble again and feel kind of bad for Parna. Actually, I feel really bad for Parna because I was in there for ages and then I came out with one book. It did go from like 7 to 1, which I feel like was pretty impressive. Let me show you. A lot of the books that I was thinking about getting, I had to really decide whether the pricing was worth it because books are so much more expensive here. There was a couple that were either the same price, but then by the time you've had tax it was slightly more expensive, and then others which I was really thinking about because I love the editions, but then it worked out as so much more expensive. Like, I really like the US editions of the book I'm currently reading, which is Before They Are Hanged. So this trilogy, and they had a box set in Barnes & Noble, but it was $45 and that's without tax. So by the time I'd done the conversion, it worked out that I was paying £20 more than just getting the box set of the UK covers. So I didn't go for it. Do I partly regret that? Yes, because I love the covers, but at the end of the day I do have a complete trilogy of the US covers that I already treated myself to, and that was spending a heck of a lot more than what these were, especially as I've been getting these books secondhand for the traitor. So I've already bought one entire trilogy that was excessively more than what I needed to spend, so I couldn't really justify doing it again. I did end up getting this book, which is a book that I've been wanting for a little while but just haven't found anywhere, and it was always sold out on Amazon. I decided to pick it up when I saw it, and it was actually only $14, so I was quite pleased with that, and that is Camilla by Joseph Sheridan LaFano. And I have read this, however this one is edited by Carmen Maria Makido, and I'm really excited by this because one, this one's illustrated, which is absolutely amazing. Like, that is stunning. I love the illustrations in this. Also, her editing is all footnotes, and I was having a flick through the footnotes and she really expands on different things. She's also done an introduction for this, and I'm really, really intrigued because I did really enjoy Camilla. So Camilla is actually the first Dracula book. That's not what I'm trying to say. It came before Dracula. It's the book that inspired Dracula, so it's kind of one of the first vampire novels. Not the first one, there has been many, and I definitely want to find and get my hands on the very first one, but this one did come before Dracula, and yet Dracula is so much more popular, but this one I would argue is so much easier to read. So if you're looking to see the vampires that have inspired the culture that we have today with all of it, in terms of like films and things like that, but you're intimidated by Dracula because that one is a bigger read, it is a bit slower, it's done in epistolary format, I can never say that word, letters. It's done in letters and journal entries, and so it can be a little bit drier, a little bit slower to get into. So if you're intimidated by all of that, then I would say pick up Camilla. It's a really, really short book. It's less than 200 pages. It's literally 139 pages. Obviously slightly different editions will have different pages, but it's a short read. It's definitely something that you could read in a couple of hours or a day. I really, really like it. I think it's underrated and I love this edition. I actually found this edition because of Jan. Jan has this edition and she was talking about it and I fell in love with this cover, and then I did some research into it and I was like, yeah, I really, really want this one. So yeah, I'm really, really pleased. I can't decide if this is going to replace my normal edition of Camilla or not. I haven't decided that one, but I am really, really happy that I got this one. So as much as I felt bad because I was in Barnes & Noble for such a long time because I was doing a proper look around, because when we first went into Barnes & Noble I did a quick scan and still ended up with a massive stack of books, which I then narrowed down to the 4 that I got, and I think again that was like 7. And then this time I picked up all the other books that one I was umming and ahhing about, in the end put it back, and then a few others just that because I was scanning so fast the first time round I'd kind of missed, and originally I did go back to get the US editions of this. And then I sat there for ages because there's a Starbucks within the Barnes & Noble that we were in, and was doing this, debated it constantly. You're getting the much more sped up version, which lucky for you and unlucky for my partner because it was a long time. And there was lots of me doing research into like checking UK prices, seeing how available they were, and some of the stuff I wish I had got because either we don't get that edition in the UK or things like this, but then I'm going back into it all. I really am, but it doesn't matter because it's behind us and it's done. So yeah, I got the one book and I'm really, really happy with this edition. So that's got to be wrapped up. Thankfully, I do actually have a load of tissue paper because the Sailor Moon jacket that I showed you was wrapped up in tissue paper. So I'm going to wrap up all my new books in tissue paper because I normally have book sleeves, but I don't have them for this many books. So I'm going to have to wrap up all of those. I'm going to do that once I've packed the last of the clothes, which I've just stopped doing. Oh, but there was a couple of other things that I'll show you. So I did pick up a few like bath products and stuff, which isn't normally me. I don't normally go around picking up loads of stuff like this, but it was cheaper, and especially this one, to like heat spray my fringe, which I've never done before, and I finally tried it out here and it was good. I really liked it, and it's actually really cheap. It's cheaper than UK, so that was great. So I picked up a couple of those. Obviously cream, because cream, always cream your skin, it's important. And then I actually picked up this. This is something that I've been seeing advertised a lot and I've been so tempted to try it out, and I actually saw it in a store, so I thought, why not? This is a Pixie Glow Tonic. Very fancy, I know. Don't do loads of this stuff. I just use Lush. That's my go-to. But I tried this out last night and it was actually really nice. Plus, okay, the only reason why I bought it was actually the Hello Kitty part. I think it's really cute. So we're gonna give this a try. Well, I tried it last night, as in we're going to try it a bit more. And then also from Pixie, I got their lip nourishing cream thing, which again, I don't normally use things like that, but considering I work outside and when it gets really hot or really cold, it can play havoc to your lips. So, I mean, not that you needed to know any of this, I am just procrastinating packing, but I like it. It's a nice little green tube with this. I haven't tried this one. I was meant to and forgot. But this was on sale, so why not? Okay, right, I should really get back to packing. Anyway, actually, while I'm packing, let me talk about this. I got to page 317, so I've made a bit more progress with that. I am going to be taking that on the flight. Thing is, we're landing in the UK at like in the morning time. I don't know what time. I want to say 11. That could be completely wrong. So our flight is at 7 in the evening here, but because the UK is 5 hours ahead, I then don't want to be going to sleep when I get home, so I can get straight back onto the UK time, and because I do have work on Friday. So I'm going to try and sleep on the flight, so I probably won't read much more of the book today. I'll probably read like little bits here and there. It's good. I'm enjoying it. So we've had more progress with the war. Things have gone terribly wrong at the North End where Colonel West was. Seeing how he's got to deal with that and the connections that he's making with other people there, I'm enjoying all of that. I think the parts that's been the most interesting for me is the parts with Glockter, because there's so much more politics that are going on there. So I find that a lot more interesting, especially with the way he's having to work with very rich people that don't want to lose money, that are thinking about going with the side that's invading just to try and save face, because they're saying, hey, if you do this, then, you know, we're not gonna hurt you, you can all live. However, if you say no, then we're gonna annihilate you. So obviously understandable, and Glockter's having to deal with all of that, and you're just seeing his decisions that he's making, and I'm enjoying that so much more, I think, because it is a lot more politicking, whereas the other perspectives are a lot more travelling. Even Colonel West's point at the minute is a lot more travelling. Although this book is very brutal, there's been a lot of battles, a lot of fights, and I think they're really well written, because it really shows you the chaotic, raw nature of a battle. I mean, I haven't been in a battle, so I don't know, but I think it's done really well. It's really portrayed that sense of just confusion and not knowing what to do in that time, and dealing with the pain of having injuries, and how some people, when it comes to fighting and that, will just freeze up. So yeah, that I'm enjoying. I think it's good. I'm going to wrap up all the books. That's going to get really noisy, so I'm going to stop filming here, because you've had the update of what I've been up to, what I've got, and what I think of the book. I'll catch up with you when I'm back home. We'll stop the rambling now and wish me luck with the rest of this packing. I forgot to show you my tote bag. I bought a tote bag from Barnes & Noble, and I was really excited about it, and I meant to show it when I originally did the first book haul, but I've been using it every day, because this is a really good tote bag. I actually really like it. So I went for the black and gold. Very happy with this. I actually really love the design of it, but not just that, it has inside pockets, separate pockets. It's really thick. It's great. It is great. I'm actually tempted to do this as my on-hold bag, like my hand luggage bag, but this isn't waterproof, so I think I'll stick to the normal one. Now I'll go. I really want to check, like, this is a good bag. I like this bag. But yeah, okay, now I'll go back to packing. Back home. As we can see, it has been a couple of days and I'm in a very creased shirt, but I hate ironing, so we're just going to pretend those creases aren't there. And you know what, it's been a busy couple of days because I have been back at work for the last couple of them. I do have work today as well, but I have a couple of updates, starting with the very last purchase I made in America, which was actually at the airport. Not the best airport I've ever been to, kind of surprised by that. It could just be the terminal that we were in, but I did pick up a book that I had been umming and ahhing about getting the UK version of, because I have the UK version of The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V. Schwab, and this is one of my favourite books ever. I really, really adored this book when I first read it, and I really want to do a reread, and I was tempted to get the UK paperback to have an annotating copy, because this is the really nice exclusive edition with its sprayed edges and end papers and everything. It's beautiful. I mean, I've annotated in special edition books before and it doesn't really bother me, but for favourite books I really like having a nice copy and then another copy to annotate. Not with all of them, but with some of my favourites, and I felt like this one deserved it. However, I then decided not to bother getting the UK paperback because it was just exactly the same cover, just in white, and I was like, nah, you know what, there's no point. I wasn't feeling it, I wasn't a fan. However, in the airport I found the American paperback and I'm so happy with this. It is beautiful. There was just something about its simplicity that really stuck out to me. It's just, I love the black with the gold lettering and the little star design. I really, really love this. I think it's beautiful. It's actually a big paperback, so it's actually smaller. No, the hardback is smaller than the paperback, but I actually quite like that. The way it's all like laid out on the typography of it all, I think it's going to make a really good annotating copy, and it's incredibly floppy. So I've picked this one up so that I can reread it and annotate it, and I'm really, really pleased that I did. I absolutely adored this. Was this paperback basically the price of this hardback? Yes, because American books are ridiculously expensive. However, I do think it was worth it. I'm really pleased that I have these 2 editions of this book, especially with it being a book that I really, really love. So I'm happy with it. I really am. So cannot wait to give this one a reread, and I may reread it soon because I'm really, really feeling it. I loved this book, and I could do with some beautiful writing at the minute. So yeah, thinking that's going to happen very soon, and I love this. I think it is so beautiful. The simplicity, chef's kiss, love it. And that's it. That was the very last purchase. So let's talk about the books that I've read for this week. Oh wait, hang on a minute. I don't have a purchase, but I have a gift. It was my last shift at the station that I worked at. I'm now starting at a new station today. And one of the colleagues there that I work with, we've chatted and we've gone out to theatre and stuff together. She picked me up a little book, and I'm very excited by this one. This is Tom Reed Wilson, On the Tip of My Tongue, The Perfect Word for Every Life Moment. This is a non-fiction book about words, and I thought it was absolutely fantastic. It has different sections that he talks about, which I think is going to be great just to have a little flick through every so often. So like this one is how to have fun with collective nouns, and I think I just really like it. I like the layout of the book, and it comes up with different words and their explanations, and I just think it's going to be really fun to dip in and out of. So that was amazing. But as I said, the books that we have read for this weekly vlog, so I finished Before They Are Hanged, and I really liked this book. It was really good. I like the way it's ended. I really like the character growth in this. I find it really fascinating. Looking forward to see where the 3rd book goes. However, as much as I can say, the writing's really good, the atmosphere is really well done, as I mentioned, the character growth, all of that. There was a scene in here, and I'm just gonna say, Joe Abercrombie, your writing is great, but you can't write intimate scenes at all. There was this particular intimate scene between these 2 characters, and I was reading it and I just burst out laughing. It was the most hilarious thing I've ever read. It was absolutely ridiculous. You'll have to let me know if you've read it and if you also laughed at that scene, because it really is something else. I mean, I just could not. Every time I was trying to read this, trying to get through this scene, and I just couldn't. I just kept laughing out loud. It was so embarrassing and funny, and it was just, yeah, wow. I mean, intimate writing, don't expect the best. I mean, actually, you could expect it to be funny, and if you like that sort of thing, then yeah, it's great. But it's not swoon-worthy, let's just say that. But I enjoyed this book overall, thought it was really well-written, and as I said, cannot wait to carry on with the next book in the series. And I've also haven't read any more of The Traitor by Seth Dickinson. I have kept it to the part that I got up to, which is the 2nd part, so where I first read. However, as we know, I have got the beautiful US edition, and I am like fully decided that I am going to be rereading the part that I've read and annotating it and then continuing on that way. Probably not going to happen in May. If anything, it might be towards the end of May, but I really want to give this the time and concentration that the book deserves. I really do like it. I'm really pleased that I've read this first 130-ish pages because of how much I have enjoyed it, but I do want to reread it and restart it in this edition, and I think it's going to be a much better reading experience. Just one with the size of it, having more room to annotate, and also I prefer the covers. So yeah, so I'm going to restart this one. Like I say, not because I'm not enjoying it, I really did enjoy this one, but with being how busy I've been this week, I just haven't been able to give it the time. And then because I found those beautiful editions, yeah, I'm going to restart. But it was really good and would highly recommend to people just based on that first part. But there we go. This is the only book that I finished this week. It was a chunky one though. It is a chunky one, so I feel like I've done a good job, especially with being on holiday and that. But yeah, there we are. We are at the end of this video, so thank you so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed, and if you have made it this far, then let's put an apple in the comments below, so like a little emoji of an apple. And if anyone knows why New York is referenced as the Big Apple, could you let me know? Because I have no idea. So I'm saying put an apple in the comments below for New York, but I don't know why it is referenced as the Big Apple. So if you know, let me know. That would be very interesting to know. But that's it for this video. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed. If you have, please do give it that thumbs up, subscribe and comment. Those 3 things are super helpful to helping this channel grow. My social media links and anyone I've mentioned will be linked below, and I will of course catch you in the very next video.